Alright, hi guys. Back again with AD Talks. Today we've got PvP, and we only have one guest today, returning one from the week before the last one.
One special guest, though.
Very special
Oh,
guest.
oh, you guys.
Considering we've done introductions and sort of the RP pass, maybe we could do something more on topic. They were enthusiastic about PvP, so maybe they'd like to tell us a bit how they got into PvP, what's their experiences with it in World of Warcraft or any other game, really.
Yeah. So for those of you who missed that last podcast, I am Artaeren. I roleplay Artaeren Alliance side. How to get into PvP? How much do I hate myself? I dabbled a little bit in PvP back when vanilla was the best, and I really didn't kind of get into it much until Mists of Pandaria, Warlords of Draenor, when I started doing rated PvP. And I decided I hated myself enough this season to try and push Gladiator, which has so far been largely unsuccessful, which I will love to rant about during the rated PvP stuff. And I guess I'm just kind of into it more now because it's part of my job. I write professionally for MMOgames.com, and I do a lot of games industry stuff. So I kind of have to do it, or my boss doesn't like me now.
Alright, fair enough. I mean, I can do a little input there about my PvP experiences. I kind of do it on and off, really. I joined in Wrath. I did some PvP then, but that was me kind of smashing my head against the keyboard because I didn't really understand any of my classes then. Uh, I got more seriously into PvP around Cataclysm, which is where I reached around 2k rating as a warrior and a rogue. There has been a point where PvP kind of made me rage quit for the game for like 6 months, and this was in Miss Pandaria, where there was that ridiculous buffs to hunters and their stampede spell. I can't remember what it's called. They could just instantly kill you basically, and it just kind of made me think, screw this, I'm playing a different game. But talking about more recently, I'm also trying to reach Gladiator, but I'm not doing very good at the moment. I kind of tend to synergize better with people I can play consistently with rather than pugging,
Yeah,
which is difficult to get for me because it seems like I'm not really a magnet for friends.
we care about you. We love you, man. You're the best.
Oh my god, thank you.
You're just on the wrong team. You could come and do it with us.
I would, but my girlfriend doesn't want me to play Horde. I'm sorry.
God damn it.
Another reason why I'm leveling a warrior right now.
Oh man, getting back into maining warrior this expansion. It's fun. It's really fun just to
I haven't
scream.
touched
deep
my warrior
wounds
yet.
at
I was
people.
just thinking that.
Warriors are pretty strong at the moment, actually.
Yeah,
Oh
it's
yeah,
one of the ones I haven't even touched a bit.
crunching numbers. Deep wounds ridiculous. Deep wounds is absolutely ridiculous.
But yeah, I tend to be more of an arena person, but I do enjoy a bit of world PvP now and again.
Do I have to answer this question? Because everyone's going to hear me.
Go ahead.
Tell us everything.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Okay, so I've done some PvP on and off, but I have never really, I don't really care intently about anything in this game beyond RP, pets, and collecting stuff. I'm that person. But like just not competitively, I still enjoy it. So we started doing some PvP bits and pieces here and there. I ground out back in TBC, do you know the purple glowy swords back when there was like separate tokens you had to get from all the different battlegrounds?
Yeah.
So much AB and AV. It was ridiculous to get those two because they equipped the sheath on your back across each other, and it was kind of epic. So I did a lot. To be fair, I say I did a lot. I sat in the corner, and my friends did a lot to get me those badges. Because I was really bad at the game back then. Then in Wrath, this morphed into the fact that me and a few guildies used to call it doing crusades, but we wouldn't really crusade. We found a special room that was in one of the towers in Wintergrasp, and you could still get honor from all the stuff that was going on if you were sitting up there.
Yeah.
Oh, we're so bad. So we did that. I mean, we sat around and got some honor there. And just super bad. Please don't hit me. I'm really, really bad at PvP. Then Tol Barad came in, And my husband at this
Ooh.
point had stopped playing Horde and started playing Alliance. So he used to run around Tolbarat. I'm a holy paladin. When I PvP as a holy paladin. And he used to run around and sap me and just then sit upstairs listening to me screaming for my friends to come and help me before he killed me, laughing to himself. So there was that. And then we did some arenas back when, I can't remember which expansion it was, but back when Holy Paladin and Arms Warrior was seriously OP. We did some 2v2 arenas and I did it with my Arms Warrior friend, and it was so bad because we're both terrible, but because people would see a Holy Paladin and an Arms Warrior or Fury Warrior, whatever it was, pop up, a lot of people would just quit the game immediately because they were that OP. Usually they couldn't be beat. Had they tried, they'd have kicked our ass. But because so many of them just saw the combination, was like, nope, I'm out. We got so many free points. It was ridiculous. And yeah, that's essentially, we got okay. I'm not even going to say decent. We got okay at arenas and 2v2. And then they changed Holy and Legion, and I haven't done any PvP in Legion, and I haven't done any PvP so far in BFA. So yeah. I just want some horses. Just give me some horses.
Tell you what, an interesting question, because I just kind of record a few of my ventures as well. Are there any like instanced or outside of instant PvP that you've had any like sort of funny moments in, you know, PvP related?
Oh god. I once had a friend who was maining, I think he was maining a Frost Mage at the time.
Yeah.
Who hadn't quite picked up on the fact of what spell reflection was for warriors, which if you don't play warrior, you cast spell reflection and it reflects the next spell thrown back at its attacker within, I think it's like 3 or 5 seconds. So we were doing, I don't remember if we were doing world PvP back in Wrath or we were trying to step into arenas. But about 25 minutes in, he got really, really angry. And I asked him, Kyle, what's wrong? And he goes, fucking warriors keep sheeping me. I don't understand how this game works. And I kind of wound him up a little bit. And I went, are you sure you're just not self-casting polymorph? You can do that? Yeah, man. Didn't you know? You need to stop targeting yourself when you cast polymorph. Oh my god. We played like 5 more games and he just got really, really mad at me going, I'm not targeting myself. What's going on?
That is Hall of Fame level trolling, my friend.
He refused to do anything with me for a while until Mists, and I do directly recall him saying, I want that pretty pony with the bitchin' ass flag.
God.
See,
That's just
it's
mean.
all about the ponies. It's not like I'm not wrong. It's all about the ponies.
It's all about the ponies.
Tell you what, here's mine, and there is a video somewhere on YouTube, but I can't for the life of me remember what it's called. I know something machinima. You know when there used to be like 5v5 arenas, right? We all kind of decided to dress up in like tuxedos and stuff and just go in the arena and, you know, mess around, not bother trying, obviously. So their entire team killed us, and there used to be an achievement where you remain as the last player and kill the rest of the team, basically.
I remember that.
Or something like that, yeah. So they all left, leaving the Holy Paladin there by himself. Here's the thing, though. He kind of lagged out, like completely. So I managed to resurrect my entire team, while still in the tuxedo and stuff. We all kind of just punched him to death. By the time he got back, he was just dead, basically. So we managed to win against him as not like wearing any gear at all, basically.
Oh my god, that just reminds me of back when vanilla was the best. The fucking rogue and warrior one-shot combos on poor fucking mages and priests. Because the overgearing was so bad back then, especially in the first few patches when they finally released PvP gear. It was like AQ quality loot. So sometimes you hear these days like, oh man, I got still knocked into a one-hit. No, it's like Mortal Strike backstab one hit.
Yeah. God, I didn't play in vanilla, so I wouldn't know, but I guess I'll find out with Classic if they keep it the same.
Part of me hopes they do, just so I can finally stop hearing vanilla was the best.
Yeah, people will see. Will remember.
Oh God, yeah. Like as a vanilla player, I do not at all want to go back to leveling in friggin' Arathai Highlands where it's like I think it's something like a 12 level uh experience band, and there's only enough quests to get you up like 3 levels.
Yeah, oh my god, it's the stuff that went on between vanilla and TBC. I started in the start of TBC, but a lot of that stuff was still happening. Like you could just
Oh
like
yeah.
get mobs into main cities and stuff, which sounds cool, you know. And to be fair, the
It was-
first time you see a giant ass demon in Argent, you're like, "What the hell's going on? This is awesome. What is going on?" But then it just gets really inconvenient.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It was. Oh God, I remember so many stories from back in the day when I was like freaking 12.
All right.
It was a broken game.
Well, let's move on then. Well, what has been your thoughts about BFA PvP so far?
I hate everything. Resto druids are awful. Frost mages need to be nerfed. Oh, good. It's been. I shouldn't say
Been an
more
experience.
balanced. Yeah, it's been an experience. Try to step into arenas and push rating all by myself because all of my plebeian friends still play on the OS servers. Oh man, I now understand why people from Outland are just generally awful human beings. Everybody who pugs arenas is just mad all the time. We're just
Oh.
furious all the time.
This is why I hate pugging.
Yeah. Anybody who pugs anything in any consistent capacity is bound to have anger issues.
It didn't click in for me until last night. I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna do any work today. I'm just gonna see if I'm like 50 rating away from my next arena title and all that sweet armor. I'll just pug the rating. I found a really awesome Russian Retribution Paladin, and we played for like 5 hours. And if it wasn't we were carrying really good healers with really low arena rating, it was we got healers with decent rating who had just the attention span of small flies. So I started at 1550 last night, and I ended last night at 1512. Over 5 hours. So I just understand everyone hating everything now.
I understand your pain, but that's in Legion though. I was always so close to 2.2k. But then I got these like, I don't know if it was fake achievement links, because obviously you can do that. But I had these two supposed gladiators looking to push further, and what they did is made me lose 90 rating close to 2.2k, which is really annoying to me, and I had that several times done. But personally with Battle for Azeroth, I think I got annoyed because I leveled a Death Knight, and Death Knights are pretty trashy right now. We got a bit of a robot voice at the moment. Just for pre-information, guys, Discord is being a bit buggy right now. So hold on a moment.
Yeah, for over 24 hours now, I think.
Alright, wait. I think we should be fine if you leave and rejoin.
Annihilating everyone that comes near him.
There we go, we got the voices back.
Hello.
Are you back?
Yeah, no longer robot voices.
I've returned from the cold Canadian Arctic. It's terrible.
Alright,
Still cold, still Canadian.
no changes there. Yeah, they completely demolished Death Knights, but I've seen no tuning so far for them, which kind of made me annoyed because I was looking forward to playing Death Knights this season. But I've kind of just settled it aside and just thought, nah, can't be bothered now, you know.
Yeah. Well, see, when I'm doing stuff, I'm usually doing stuff on a prop paladin, and there's not even a section for that on ICVNs or anything, because they're like, no, you just don't prop paladin in PvP, apparently.
Just don't tank in PvP unless you're doing RBGs.
I've seen more Blood Death Knights than Unholy or Frost in the arenas.
Blood Death Knights in arenas.
And even then,
One
they're
thing
easy
we
to
did
kill.
have. one thing we did have in Arena is when we were doing our OP combo, is we once came across a Restro Druid and a Blood DK, and we almost shit our pants. But we fought it out, and we actually managed to kill the Druid fairly quickly. But then there was the two of us against this Blood DK, and Steve couldn't DPS him faster than he could self-heal, but he couldn't DPS us faster than I could heal. So we were stuck. And we fought for about 30 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes. We genuinely fought it out, and it was going literally nowhere. But neither of us were going to quit, because we didn't, if you quit, you lose.
Yeah.
So neither of us were willing to resign the win. So for the last, 15 minutes, we didn't actually know what happens, like how long does an arena go on. So we didn't actually know, but for the last 15 minutes, we put out a campfire, we sat around /joking with each other with this little goblin death knight, because we just couldn't kill each other. And then at 45 minutes, apparently, what happens is you get timed out and everybody loses. So it came to nothing, but I was like, that's how powerful Blood DKs are. They just cannot be killed.
Well, I don't think Death Knights are... in general, tanks aren't that good in arenas now. Yeah, but that's my experiences personally with... or general thoughts in PvP so far for BFA. There's a lot of class balancing issues, but when is there not with PvP?
Yeah, I'm gonna get on my Azerite box for a moment and do my preaching. The imbalance is absolutely, it feels closer, but it's still like really wildly off in terms of, and it's not like I can't kill a mage, so warriors are obviously underpowered. No, it's even in differences in terms of damage, especially right now with the fact that the Horde only have Warfronts.
Yeah.
There is a little bit of scaling in PvP of all kinds, but when it comes just to flat out gear, if I'm fighting as right now I'm a 350. Last night we were going against Horde players who were 370, 375. It's absolutely ridiculous in terms of balancing just across the board.
I don't get Azure armor, and the problem with Azure armor at the moment is I legitimately didn't like farming artifact power in Legion. Why would I like it now just to unlock all these other things? It's just a grind that I just can't be bothered with.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't really understand it, because I don't understand what makes it different and why they didn't just stick with that system, because it seems to me to be exactly the same, really. I cannot be bothered with the World Quest grind. I literally only do the World Quest for pet charms and rep tokens and stuff like that. I do not bother with the Arcane one, which is why my gear is so terrible, let's be honest. But I just can't be bothered with it. I don't think it's a great system.
I don't either, but that's
like the only saving grace of 8P back in Legion was, oh man, I've got this righteous stick branch of awesomeness. This is the coolest thing I've ever had. Now we have a dopey little necklace. Okay, cool. We've got a sword that lays waste to legions of undead, or we've got a pearl necklace for fucking Bellatrix.
Hey, precious.
Precious.
I mean, just the way they hold it when you acquire the necklace. Staring at it intensely.
It's ridiculously big as well. It's just...
It's so funny when you do that if you're playing a human, because no matter what face you have, the same facial expression is, what is this? Why do I have it? I don't even want this. Magni, take it back.
Not this again.
Do I have to do this? Is there no one else?
Alright, I guess I'll save Azeroth again. Even the Forsaken look like cheerier holding it, which is hilarious.
Tell you what, my goblin looked bored holding it. Not big or shiny enough, it seems. What about war mode then? I mean, what's your general opinion on war mode, especially through leveling or just engaging in combat, or the bonuses you get from it?
That's a good question. I did a little bit of war mode leveling back when BFA came out, because I had to level 2 characters in like a week and a half for an article series I was working on. I find war mode is pretty okay. There are a lot of people complaining about, oh, I'm only level 112. How do I take on a 120? There is a kind of dynamic scaling there, like we see with the level zoning and the level banding. Um, I think the real fun does come out of it though, with the 120 war parties that have been going on, where it's just like two big armies like slooshing together slooshing together friendly like in heated combat.
Slooshing. There's a word.
Slooshing.
Slooshing. Can we just
Slooshing.
appreciate slooshing for a moment?
Solution would be our word of the stream today.
Don't expect me to define it because I may have made it up. Uh, I kind of like war mode. It's really laborious to go back to Stormwind or Orgrimmar and change it all the time, though.
That's the bit that gets me, especially
Yeah.
because you have to go to Alcamar to change it to then go to Silverburn to RP. That's kind of annoying.
Doesn't bother me as much on my mage, but any other class, yes.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you have portals to everywhere nowadays. But
And it's not too bad. Like you can go to Agramar from this Great Seal teleport, and then you can turn it off, and then you can teleport right back to the Great Seal, and then teleport to Silvermoon. But that's 4 loading screens, which for me is that's like 20 minutes to go RP. It's ridiculous.
Even just trying to do like world quests or anything like that. Not even like having a roleplay, just world quests. It's you want to claw your eyes out.
I love the idea. I love the idea that you can turn war mode on and off, and that you can now basically be on a PvP server anytime you want, basically. But they really need to make it so that you can do it in like every capital city or something like that, because only giving you one option kind of sucks.
I think it should just be the same as changing talents requiring you to be in a rested area or whatever.
Yeah, in a rested area.
Because it is kind of a hassle to go just all the way back to Stormwind or Orgrimmar just to turn it off or on. But
Yeah.
otherwise, I found it fun. I mean, as much as I found it annoying when I'm just trying to do things and getting, like as you said, stampeded on by these war parties that end up camping you for like half an hour or so.
We gotta get those tour of duty achievements done, man. Gotta get that big old friggin' crab thing, man.
Oh, I think Chikali has it. Actually, I think he got his
Hey,
thingy from doing the tours.
I have
One
been
of
too
the
angry at arenas
huge
to
in our
do
guild
this.
that's been hardcore PvP.
I appreciate the bonuses that come with it because it makes it worth the hassle of you sometimes being inconvenienced by a player or whatever. And it's just fun engaging in combats now and again with other players, really.
Oh, absolutely.
I've had it on for all of my alts because it makes leveling that bit easier. Because you get absolutely wiped off the face of the planet every now and again, but it's not enough to negate the 10% XP.
Yeah, it's. For me, I find the 10% is really not noticeable. I mean, if you're wearing heirlooms powered up to BFA level, which we don't have yet, yeah, it stacks, but 10% just feels really, really pitiful.
I try to tell myself that it's doing, making it so much faster so that I can convince myself to level all the alts I have to level.
See,
Don't spoil my delusions here, alright? I need those.
with leveling, I'd say anything beneath level 100 is quick with war mode on, but specifically in the lower, I guess you can call it cataclysm areas because there's not really vanilla zones anymore. The cataclysm areas where they've been revamped and everything, you can find lots of rares in war mode because there's hardly anyone leveling in war mode, so it's just a lot more XP there for you as well to gain. But,
That's true.
and in general, just the quests as well, they're pretty easy and quick to do, and it's just a bit more extra XP, handing in 5 quests at once, 10% XP with each one of them more. It helps, it helps you out really in the long run. I have managed to level, I did do sort of a day or two of leveling Night Elf Rogue from 100 to 110 just before Battle for Azeroth was released. I managed to do that in about a day or two, leveling from 1 to 110. That was with War Mode on.
Could not pay me enough to do that grind in a couple days.
It's more to
I'm so
I don't know why I got into it. It was just really I guess I had lots of distractions as well on the side, kind of just pushing me to do it whilst I was just listening to music or watching something. But yeah, I think War Mode's good. It could use some tweaks with the toggling it on and off, really.
Oh, absolutely.
There was the campaigns at the beginning of the expansion, the Drums of War, I think they were called.
Yes. I sadly had to miss a lot of that because I was in a work contract at that point that had me way out in the middle of god awful nowhere. Wow, was really good from what I saw. There's always that little bit of interpersonal drama that happens in big events like that, but went over really, really well.
I heard they also opted into War Mode whilst doing the campaign, or rather some did and some didn't. I didn't attend it myself, so I'm not fully aware because the lagging was just I couldn't be bothered dealing with the lag.
Oh god, yeah.
But
I also did
I
not
mean,
attend, so I have no idea.
what are your thoughts on RPs using War Modes or RP PvP, or do you think they should just toggle it off and on in their current phases?
As my teeth vibrate. Wow. I'm always down for more PvP. There's just so much good opportunity for roleplay to come from conflict in PvP. I'm trying to put my words together now.
Delicately.
Delicately. I'm just like a delicate little flower today. Oh my god. I can't really see it being used all the time for role players just because as a textual guy, I'm very textual. It's kind of annoying to just be like, oh yes, absolutely, let's talk about the flowers and there's an orc. Okay, the orc is dead now. Let's continue on. I think it's probably more event based. Like we saw with Drums of War, I've done PvP, RP stuff. Feels like forever ago now. Back when Vanilla was the best.
Back in my days.
Back when I was like 10, leading a multi-core raid group. Fight me. I feel it's got its situational uses. I don't see it being on in the open world all the time for role players. Just because I think most role players are honestly going to get tired of crafting their 3-paragraph mode and then having to stop halfway because it's an orc.
Yeah.
That would be annoying, let's be honest.
I think the hassle with let's face it, even without War Mode, you get trolls coming in to kind of ruin the RP experiences you're having, opposing another faction or just whatever RP you're doing in general. Basically, you're going to get people coming in and trying to ruin the experiences for you, which I think you'll get a lot more of it with War Mode, considering War Mode's intertwined.
Yeah, it gives people a lot more opportunity to actually interact with your physical character and everything.
Yeah, and we're
get in the way.
We're more linked with other RP servers as well. Defias, Brotherhood, Moonglade. I can't remember all of them off the top of my head. Steamweedle. Yeah.
Steamweedle, Earthen Ring, Darkmoon Fair, Moonglade, Shatar. I think that's the 4 of them.
Yeah.
Is there more than 4?
I think that's all of them. I think War Mode for RP realms is only linked to other RP realms as far as I remember, unless you invite people from other realms into it. Yeah, I think that's a problem that, it is your problem at the end of the day. I mean, you decide to RP in that phase, so if you kind of put yourself in that situation, you can get yourself out of that situation easily enough by turning it off, basically. But otherwise, I guess it's more situational, like you said. It'd probably be better with RP like campaigns and where you're actually engaging in fights, and it'll be more realistic, where you can kind of just hit anyone nearby if it's your enemy or whatever, you know.
Oh yeah.
I mean, well, what are some of the I think we've already kind of talking about that, but do you have any more pros and cons that comes with war mode?
Forces people to get good. No.
It's like a boot camp for PvPers.
You say that, but I have leveled in war mode, and my immediate reaction to an alliance turning up is to stand still and pretend I'm AFK.
I think they'll still kill you if they're AFK.
My inner Dark Souls is short. Let me praise the sun and we'll move on.
They're like dinosaurs, or is it T-Rex, where they, as soon as you stop moving, they can't see you.
Exactly right. So
Oh,
far
God, it's a
it
no.
hasn't worked, but I'm holding out hope.
You gotta like get smaller and like blend into the background. You gotta re-roll to a
Yeah.
to a goblin and just hide in the bushes.
Sometimes I even try and see if Feign Death will work. Again, so far, no joy.
Because everyone knows. Oh, it's a hunter. Okay, we're gonna double tap really quick and make sure it's dead. Oh, it's not dead. Cool, free honor.
Essentially, I'm free honor. I should make that my name.
You are the supporting role that this Warcraft community.
You're doing a good job.
That's me. I'm the support duck.
Gold star.
I mean, listing the pros and cons. I mean, the only con for me is, again, the toggling it on and off, really.
Yeah, the inconvenience of getting in and out.
But otherwise, the bonuses from it, I like. It just helps you with that inconvenience you'll get now and again. The interaction with other players you'll get at times, as good as you get, like a person who kind of, just nods their head at you and says good fight, or you get the sometimes angry player who, adds you to their battle net and just says angry things at you. But there's all kinds of players in World of Warcraft.
So much salt.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, that's it for me. I don't know if anything you two have to add on the pros and cons of the war modes.
It's definitely got me to understand why Outland people just hate everything. Like, I used to just think that people from Outland were just really nasty 12-year-olds. No, I understand now. They're like 35 with kids that really just want to PvP and win something in like the 10 minutes they have free time.
Can't ask for more there. I mean, it's a fair mindset to have.
War mode has showed me the rest of the world. Thanks, Blizzard.
Didn't need my eyes open to that, but okay. Put some salt in chat.
Thank you. Alright, let's move on to rated PvP. I mean, what's your experience in that general section of it? I'm really bad,
I feel like
and
that
people don't want
sums
to
it
play
up.
with me. And
I zone into Nagrand. I see a mage. I get triggered. It's just I just hate everything, man.
what you're saying is people that do PvP are like masochists, where they hate it but they still keep doing it.
Oh man, I thought I was a masochist before because I've played just about every single Souls game blind, and I'm a glutton for punishment normally. And then it's like, you know what? I'll just pug arenas with strangers I don't know and hope to get rating.
That's like a Russian roulette, but finding the right partner.
Ironically enough, I've met really, really nice Russians that just slash spit on people constantly. But every English-speaking healer I've met through the through pugging, through Blizzard's group finder, it's just the worst. Just genuinely just the worst human beings I've ever met.
Yeah, I legitimately can't think back on a time where pugging a group has kind of been nice or calm or whatever. But when it comes to experiences with friends and stuff, it tends to be more relaxed and, hang in there. We're going to do this together, sort of thing.
We could break the losing streak, guys.
Yep.
Yeah.
That, or we just kind of be like, you know what, that's enough losing streak for today. Let's step back. We'll try again tomorrow. Instead of yelling at each other and being mad in general.
Yeah, there's honestly no call for it.
Uh,
Who
it,
needs it? I can see why they do it, to be fair, because it's got to be frustrating
that's my, oh man.
I admit it's
if
frustrating
you're
for
really
me
invested in it.
because I'm competitive at times, so it's I can kind of get annoyed as stupid plays by me sometimes, or healer not dispelling me, whatever. I'm just like, oh, why didn't you do this, sort of thing. It's because I get really competitive sometimes, and that's a me problem.
I think for me, it's just there are a lot of people, especially new to PvP, who are not really willing to look at their own faults or understand a bigger scenario. It's very much a me thing. Like, what was it? Like last night, where I played for 5 hours and still lost like 50 rating or whatever it was. One of the last games I played with was with a hunter, who kept getting trained by the melee team.
Yeah.
And what was the matchup? It was something like Frost, Arms Warrior, and a Discipline Priest. So we started and we went, okay, we're gonna need to get rid of the mage. And he's getting trained by both the mage and the warrior, so we go, okay, I'm gonna jump off, I'm gonna heal the warrior. So you're slowing the warrior, you're disarming the warrior, doing everything to get this warrior off of him, and then you go, oh cool, the healer's at pretty low health, we can take him. Switch to the healer. Hunter dies within maybe another 15 seconds or so. Healer dies, I die. First thing out of the guy's mouth is, well, you said mage. Yeah. Well,
It's called reaction.
you're
Intuition
hitting
from
everything.
reaction.
You're hitting everything but the mage. What's wrong with you? I don't know, dude. Why are you getting trained by warrior, man? Come on, you got disengage. Just rated PvP is painful because people are stupid. That's what it comes down to, Deb.
I have never done any of it because I'm so terrified of disappointing everybody else that would be on my team.
It's
So I've
It's
never
a-
done any.
it's a huge learning curve. I
mean, the
didn't
only way to
PvP a
get
lot
better
in
is by
PvP.
doing it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
And I
it.
mean, I'm quite happy to practice things by myself. I just don't want to track everybody else down while I'm practicing.
That's
This is
that's
why
the thing
we
though.
made
You
in a
can't
guild
do.
group.
I guess you could do
Yeah,
skirmishes
you can't
now.
do both. Yeah, so I just don't do rated stuff at the minute anyway.
It's a good experience to do. I have this argument with my girlfriend all the time because I like to live dangerously. Uh,
I sometimes play
PvP
do
is-
PvP without my belt on.
PvP is where you really learn how to really play your class. Like rating and the things that she thinks are intense. Sorry, babe. I should say that out loud. She takes no shit from me. But rating and that end of things teaches you how to play your rotation really well and move. PvP teaches you literally everything about your class through.
Yeah,
just
I have
smashing
noticed
your
that.
head
Like,
against the
even in the arenas that I have done, you genuinely, if you want to do anything half decently, you have to know what your spells do because it's much more reactionary. You don't know what. It's not like a boss where you know he's going to do X and he's going to do Y and then he's going to do Z. And if you're generally prepared for what that's going to entail with your skills, you can be prepared for it. In arenas, you have literally no idea what people are going to do, and you have to just go with. You have to know things. You have to know your
Oh, yeah.
class. You have to know how to react to different things, what your spells do exactly, and then what they can be used for. It's very
Not
on the
only
ball.
that, but also knowing when to use it, because I mean, it can be a big difference
Something
if
else
you
could
kind of
happen in
just
2 minutes.
if you just use your defensive right away, and I mean that's it. Really, they haven't used their burst, you're
Gone.
gone.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
arenas is the game of who can pop their cooldowns first.
That is the game I
Yeah.
used to play with my Death Knight. let's put it this way: in Legion, I could burst whenever I wanted because it's kind of on a short cooldown. 1 minute, I'm like, you know what? It's constant pressure I'm keeping on them, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to continuously sit on them and push out this damage and till they run out of defensives or the healing's reduced to a point where they can't out-heal the damage,
just
that
gonna-
sort of thing.
Oh God,
Seconds. My kid just ran out half naked into the storm. I'll be right back.
Wait, what?
That sounds like the best story ever brewing in the world.
It sounds a bit dangerous. That kid likes to live life dangerously.
Depends on which person. I don't know. I don't know. I can't talk a lot about arenas because, and my friends will never ever let me forget it. I once pushed 500 rating, and as a warrior, completely forgot to put Mortal Strike on my hotbars.
It's okay.
You know that thing that does the damage.
Isn't that the main one?
Yeah. especially in WoD, that was like the biggest main one. What?
I would have just kicked you out of my team right away.
Oh God. Well, we all knew each other, so it was like, I can't get rid of you. I don't know.
Alright, you see
another
this
warrior.
ability right here? I want you to use it as much as you can.
What's really bad is, like, literally before those matches, I was like, okay, we gotta min-max everything, guys.
Yeah.
Make sure your hot bars are full. Make sure your talents are the right thing. Don't forget to change them situationally. Let's do this. And then, like, 6 matches later, it was like, so, Kyle, you remember how I told you to fill up your hot bars, right? Yeah, I didn't with mine. Why? Forgot Mortal Strike.
What is Mortal Strike anyway? It's just a symbolization. I don't need this. I have Slam.
Just to read it off. Mortal Strike is a vicious strike that deals so much physical damage it reduces the effectiveness of healing on the target by 25%.
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
Are they still your friends?
Surprisingly. I haven't been, like, excommunicated from the Holy Church of Arenas yet, so...
It's close though. He's on strike too. One more strike and you're out. No, you generally need to know all your abilities for that though. I mean, even now, even back then really, not even abilities but talents as well. There are certain talents against certain teams that you needed, whereas with other teams you don't. For example, disarm and spell reflect. You're not really going to need spell reflect against a rogue, really. So you're going to take disarm instead, aren't you? Those are the things you kind of need to know as well.
Yeah. I don't know, I have used spell reflect against a rogue. I don't know what happened. I don't think anything happened, but...
Let's put it this way, at least you have spell reflect for any CC that might be heading your way from the healer. But, I mean, it's very rare that you'll get CC'd by the healer unless the rogue's legit, like just going for the burst straight on your healer.
Oh, yeah.
I tried to CC as much as I could as a healer because I was like, it can't hurt.
You are my favorite person right now. You have no idea.
I did. There was a try in that sentence. I just want to point that out again,
That's
before anybody gets any ideas about me being good at anything.
It's really, in arenas you almost have to kind of be constantly aggressive. It's really hard to play defensively, especially when your healer just kind of hugs the pillar and goes, "I'm here. Don't worry. Don't break line of sight, but I'm here."
Stay where I can see you, for the love of God.
Don't you fucking move. Ignore the mage. Don't you break line of sight.
Don't you dare walk away from me.
It's like the condescending mother.
Literally,
Don't you
like,
walk
mom
away
class.
from me. You heroically back here and get your heals, mister.
Oh man, I'm absolutely using these lines next time I'm healing.
Just like macro them. Whatever was hand of salvation.
You better not walk through that door.
Here,
You better come back here, mister.
better not hug that fucking bell.
You put a plaster on that wound of yours. I mean...
1 second.
The storm has come.
It's coming. Rated PvP in general for me has just been an experience of getting better at the game, and it's probably made me better at raiding as well, because I guess you said you just get to learn your classes more, really.
Oh, absolutely. Like as the next raider, if darn kids, how dare they? They're like little rogues. As an ex-raider, PvP's definitely helped me out. It reading like guides on like Noxic, Icy Veins, Skill Cap. As a raider, you would never think, like even just playing an Arms Warrior, okay, cool. I'll just hit the boss, colossal smash, and then go into my blade storm. You would never think to, okay, maybe wait for the second tick of colossal smash
Yeah,
when I don't have any rage to spend to then blow my blade storm.
yeah.
It's always just this big game of min maxing in PvP, and that really carries over super effectively to PvE.
Yeah, yeah. Well, let's move on to something people will probably be more interested in. That's RP PvP. Events and campaigns. I don't know if any of you guys have experiences in that general area, really.
I did the Borderlands, if either of you recall the Borderlands.
I've heard a lot
But
of
that
it,
was
but I
quite a
haven't.
while ago.
Before my time.
Yeah, it was really good. It was really well done. I was a healer as well, and they knew that, so I kind of got singled out and killed at the start of every battle pretty efficiently. GG Alliance. Um, but yeah, so it wasn't, but I didn't mind. Like I said, I'm not particularly competitive, so that was fine. But and the actual event itself was run very well right up until the end, when I believe there was some complications with certain guilds being difficult and things. But on the whole, it was very, very good and very, very well done. But we generally don't do a lot of it these days, just because I've been here 11 years, and I don't think I've ever seen one pulled off without some kind of drama, complications, and shitstorms.
Yeah.
I just try to avoid it if I can.
I there was, what was the one I did? It was I took a break in BC and I came back in Wrath, and Wrath is when I started getting back into roleplay again. There was a campaign, like guild master at the time set up, and he eventually just turned to like threw an event on my plate. It was like, hey, I need you to just arrange just like this big old fucking war. Okay. You have any specifics? No, just get a bunch of people to fight. Okay, cool. So
Nice.
we
Artistic
actually
freedom.
had artistic freedom. It was great. We had this big uh there's a plane in Netherstorm, I believe, that's relatively flat, and it's this big open space. So one Saturday night we got these two big 40-man raids on either side, and one they're both RP guilds and only had like 10 members each, but knew a whole bunch of PvP guilds. So we just stacked them with like faceless PvP mooks. And it was a really, really good event. Just these two big armies just colliding on this random plane in Netherstorm. Of course, you had the drama of, oh, you brought PvPers. Yeah, so did you. No, he didn't fight me. But having events like that is just cool for like that big, epic, grand scale of Warcraft, of crafting war.
Yeah. I can't remember off the top of my head because I have like the memory of a goldfish, but I have been through a bit of RPP campaigns, and the last one I recorded didn't really have much drama to it, but I assume it's because it was just two guilds, one from Horde, one from Alliance, kind of interacting with one another, rather than these big,
Yeah.
40-man stuff. We already knew what
Yeah,
we
the
wanted.
huge ones. The
yeah.
huge ones are always just, there's too many people, and everybody has a different opinion, and everybody allowed a different opinion. Don't get me wrong, obviously. But when you try to gather that many opinions under one system and under one storyline, you're going to have disagreements.
It's a lot more chaotic with RPPVP.
Exactly.
Oh, it's absolutely brutal. Because
I mean, it looks immense. It obviously has that much more cinematic, immersive feel to it, because there's so many things and people involved and stuff. But at the same time, that comes with downsides.
Amusingly enough, that campaign that we did with that other guild was here in the Southern Barrens. We were kind of doing a fight for, I can't remember what the Dwarven area is called, but we kind of...
No, it's not Thandalspan. That's a completely other place. Never
I can
mind.
ride towards
Don't
there, and we'll kind of say, oh, this was it at the end. But yeah, we fought for that area, and the Horde eventually win, because lore-wise there wasn't really much alliance here, so it was bound to be us burning it down. But we had fun, kind of fighting with one another, having these stories written, all this kind of stuff. It was a lot less chaotic than the bigger campaigns, and it has its ups and downs. It gives you more immersion, but the problem with PvP, which can come outside of RP itself, is everyone has the mindset that they want to win. They want to be
Oh god, yeah.
at the top. They want to be the one slaughtering everyone, standing on top of a pile of bones and stuff,
Yeah.
just waving their axe in the air.
Yeah, I think a lot of the things that I've noticed as well is when you have a lot of guilds together like that, a lot of them will want to do super unique things that make them stand up out from, they want to contribute, which is good and admirable. Obviously everyone wants to contribute to the role play and to the storyline and everything. That's awesome. But they tend to, sometimes think up sort of more abstract things just so that they have something to do and to contribute that can then get in the way of the actual storyline and things like that. I think that's where some of the complications arise. I explained that really badly, by the way.
Yeah, it's Belmodan, by the way.
Belmodan,
Belmodan.
there you go.
There we go. I
Not
read all the way
remotely
there.
close to what I said.
But I mean, I think it's good, but it has more downs for me than ups personally, and it works better in smaller groups rather than these big campaigns.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
why I tend to run PvE campaigns related to whatever faction I'm hosting it for, really, or
Yeah,
for both factions.
With the PvP as well, just because, at least in my experience, you have a lot of role players who that's their aspect of the game, that's their facet. They don't really do the PvP or the PvE content. There are some role players who really do get, and I used to be one of them, so I can attest to it, who get really pissy when it's like, what? You want me to actually like PvP my character who is a level whatever archmage, who is the master of the arcade, who's the sorcerer supreme essentially? It it it's kind of humbling for players who have this character that they've invested so much time in. Like I think my longest one was almost 15 years. Who have like this 15-year character who's put the time in, who's become super duper powerful, who then gets stunlocks and is backstabbed to death by a dirty cheap shot rogue.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
they've been role playing rather than PvPing for gear and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's not always good to represent the character you have in mind through just whacking each other ahead with a staff. I mean, what are some of the changes that you'd like to see when it comes to PvP?
I do think to a certain aspect we need Blizzard really needs to look at fixing their dynamic scaling system, because it does scale stats in between physical player levels, but it doesn't really scale it with item level, as we're seeing a lot right now with arenas, where if you're unlucky enough to get a disciplined priest or a restoration druid who has clearly been milking the war fronts the last couple weeks, you're not just surrender. It's over. You're done. It's not happening. You just don't have the DPS as an alliance character to even compete with that right now.
Maybe not with the disc priest, but I've been known to put resto druids in their place.
I've had a lot of fun jabbing resto druids to death, but the gear differential
Yeah.
is absolutely insane.
I'm
mean-
a bit of a 50-50 with that, really. I think I'd prefer the system we had before, where you kind of get more for what you put into it, as in you acquire gear specified with PvP, and you spend the conquest points on the gear, and it's an improvement towards what you were before. It's meant for PvP.
Absolutely. Like the current conquest system kind of sucks.
It still sucks, and
Do you know, I honestly don't have I haven't even looked at the. Like,
We-
do we not have PvP gear anymore, or what
We-
way does it work?
We do. The way it works for gearing is, for some reason,
I guess you can
Blizzard's
call
got
it
in
like
its mind, it's
Mythic Plus, really.
Yeah, Blizzard's got like this like guided tour of gearing for PvP. So essentially, if you go to like your rated PvP tab, it'll pull up a little bar at the top that says Conquest. So every week you can earn up to 500 Conquest points to get a piece of gear. Now that gear will go up and down in item level depending on your rated PvP rating, but for most people it's in the 350, 355 range.
Yeah.
Now there's also an end of week conquest chest. If you do, which the item in their scales depending on your ratings. So as what is my rating? 1512. So as a guy who had a high this week I had a high of 1587, so I'd be in the combatant bracket. I'm looking at getting a piece of gear that is, I think it's either 560 or 565 or 360 or 365 from that end of week chest. Gear
Yeah.
that is equivalent to Mythic plus 5 or 6.
Yeah, it's essentially like Mythic Plus, where I guess in this case, rather than getting the best time, whatever, and getting better rewards, better keys, you're just kind of getting better rating and getting a higher reward out of it at the end of the
Yeah.
week for the cap you
So
get.
do you get a chest no matter how many conquest points you get, or do you only get it if you get the 500?
You only get both if you get the 500.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then you
How much
also,
do you get for doing stuff? Like, how much would you have to do to get that 500 roughly?
let's say after my first one of the day, 3v3s are going to give me 10 conquest every win. So you do need to do a fair bit.
Holy crap, that's
But-
a lot.
Yeah.
I believe
It's something
RBGs
like
give you like
50 wins.
60 or 50, something
Yeah.
like
Ah,
that. And then there's also
Promises.
bonus quests you can do that give you 50 conquest as well outside in
Yeah.
the world. There's a few ways
The-
of gathering conquest there.
The big problem I find is, and it's a problem that a lot of people shared with me last week, is back in the first week of Conquest where you clipped it and unlocked the Conquest chest piece. That same in the rated Conquest chest at the end of the week, got a chest piece of the exact same item level. The RNG is so bad that if you're really unlucky, you're not gonna get anything that you
see, that kind of gets me as well. Like, I kind of like the system where like you farmed up your honor points and then you went and bought whatever piece
Yeah,
you wanted
that-
to
I
buy.
prefer
Be
that.
that the piece that looks the best, be that the piece that's the best upgrade for you, whatever piece it is, you could buy whatever piece you wanted. Because my RNG is abysmal.
Oh god, yeah. I'm the same way. I've been farming Thunder Fury for the last 13 years.
Do you want to talk about abysmal RNG? I was doing a Mythic Plus on my warrior. We had almost 100 wipes, went over time completely, and I got no gear out of it at all.
I feel that. I feel that. Shrine
Uh,
of the Storms is
uh,
the bane of my existence.
A little part of me died that day.
I feel that. I really feel that. You have no idea.
Yeah, I mean that's the only change I like to see though. Returning back to a point where you earn honor points in conquest and buy the gear you need rather than hoping that Orange Jesus is on your side and pray, like just giving you a reward.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I do kind of like the graduated rewarded system now, where it's like, okay, if you hit 1400 rating, yeah, you get a few bits and bobs from the elite PvP set. But if you want the really good stuff, like the tabard, the cloak, the mount, the enchant, you've got to hit whatever 2100, 2400, 2400 with 50 wins for the mount.
Yeah.
Like that, the graduate system I like, but in terms of gearing, like I've played how many matches did I play this week? 135. I played 136. No, hold on. Okay, I've played 200 PvP matches this week because apparently I've had no life and I've shirked most of my work.
That's why
I've-
today was so hard.
I'm on crunch day today. Oh my god! But it's let's say I've won 100 matches. Why can't I not go buy a set of plate gloves, some boots?
Yeah, it's just so much better if you could just buy it yourself.
Yeah, and instead now I've got what? I'm gonna get level 355 gauntlets to replace my level 355 gauntlets. That's great. Thanks, Blizzard.
I mean, what was one of your favorite expansions for PvP then?
Oh god. Honestly, for as much crap everyone gives Warlords of Draenor, Warlords of Draenor was really nice in terms of rated PvP for me. The elite armor sets were amazing, especially I think it was season 16, that first PvP season for Warlords.
Yeah.
The warrior set is still the best elite PvP set to this day. The shifting armor plates and the glowing blue stuff was amazing. Ashran was really, really good. PvP, I'm not saying it felt balanced, but it felt less clunky than it does now, I think that's when we had a lot of the first ability prunes.
I think I probably have to agree there, really, with Warlords being one of the favoured ones.
They had some really nice sets in Warlords with some really nice belts.
That's where I got the Elite Rogue set with all the blades coming out of the
Daggers
shoulders.
and the pouches and stuff on the belts and things. They're so good.
Like in terms of like sheer utility and just having buttons to push all the time, MOP was probably the better season in that regard. I mean, come on, Warriors had flags they could run to if they wanted to, which was great.
I'd never want to talk about stepping downhill.
but like MOP and WAD were the sweet spots for rated PvP in my opinion.
Yeah.
Mind, I'm not from Outland. I'm not from Frostmourne. My opinions are probably uneducated.
Well, obviously it's going to be different for when you join the game as well, or when you're almost like active with PvP.
Yeah, like some of my friends who've retired with from WoW, who now have like kids and significant others and whole families, they'll preach how vanilla PvP was the best when it was just an unbalanced, just awful, god awful cluster.
Yeah.
And High Warlord and Grand Marshal, that was the worst thing in the world.
I mean, I'd ask for favourite RP, PvP events or maybe interactions, but I don't know if you have anything to input in that area, really. Mine is, again, probably the one in Southern Barrens with the just two guilds having a good time, you know?
I have to like go into like my shameful roleplay past closet for that one. What happened? Right, it was a super overpowered Death Knight guild versus a super overpowered Paladin RP guild. And like in terms of roleplay, like we were all like the next grand messiahs walking the face of the earth and stuff. We had decided to do like a flashback roleplay event to Light's Hope Chapel, the big siege on Light's Hope Chapel.
Yeah.
And it was gonna be RP PvP. It was gonna be the best thing in the world. And it was.
Was
it was
this on Argent Dawn?
No, at that point I was playing on. I think it was
someone
Steam
think
Wheel
of doing
Cartel
something
US.
similar to that on Argent Dawn at one point.
It was a really really good idea, honestly, and I can see a ton of guilds doing it. It was really really great because we knew how things had to plan out, but of course you still had that roleplay drama of, well, my character was a Grand Executor Baron of the Evan. Shut up. It was probably one of the cooler events because we'd have, I think it was every 5 minutes we had planned. Everyone set alarms every 5 minutes. We'd break from the action and we'd do like little 10-minute roleplay segments and shouting at each other and stuff. Oh, it was great.
Yeah.
Probably the only time I have ever seen an RP PvP event actually not devolve into just sheer chaos and hysteria.
Yeah. I mean, anything from you, Mariki?
The only one I did was that Borderlands one. But it was really really good. There was a lot of character stuff and guild interactions and all that went on outside of the PvP itself as well. That was just phenomenal.
All right. Well, I mean, we've gone a bit over time, so we'll end it there. But I mean, thanks for coming again.
Yeah, absolutely. I love coming out with you guys.
Should come out more often, you know, go for
He
drinks
doesn't.
maybe.
He doesn't really. We bully him and bribe him.
Yeah. I
was told there was going to be a vicious war saddle for coming on board. How do I get my pony?
About that,
So where do
I'm
I
gonna have to
get
get back to you. You're gonna have to talk to my secretary.
Ooh.
But yeah, if you want to, share this with friends, or if you joined in late or whatever, YouTube always, it'll be uploaded there. If I can stop being lazy and look into it, I'm probably going to try extract the audio and put the podcast on like Google Play or Apple like that as well, so you can like listen to it on the go maybe. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the follows. If you have any questions and answers, naturally you can pre-ask them in Discord or on the thread itself, and we'll get to it at the end of each talk show sort of thing. But otherwise I don't have anything else to add personally. Next week we should be doing a guild interview with someone, and we will talk about upcoming events in October. Thanks for coming again, guys.
Thank you very much. Talk to you next week.
Yep. See ya.